Hey there, welcome or welcome back to my channel, String Things by Mel. My name is Melissa. I'm a stay-at-home mom living in Vancouver, Canada, and on my channel, I like to chat and share everything about my knitting hobby. Today, I have something a little different, new from me. It's a book review. So, as one of my goals this year, 2024, I'm looking to purchase fewer patterns. And this isn't entirely cost driven. It's me trying to actually use the resources I already have. So I have, magazines and I have actual knitting pattern books I have purchased and have not knit a single pattern out of them, which feels irresponsible in a way. Like, why did I buy these books? And the why part is what I'm going through now. So I am trying to resist the temptation of just buying everything that's kind of like new and hot right now. And it's not that I want to stop supporting designers, but I also need to support the ones that I have purchased their books from. So part of this process is going through each book and looking through, like, what details does it have? Of course, I'm looking through, like, what styles do I like? But I thought I'd, turn it into some information I can also present to you guys and share my findings and perhaps help you decide if you want to purchase this book for yourself or not. So first thing to mention is that I purchased, well, the book that I have today is something I paid for with my own money. I'm not sponsored. I also don't know the author in any way. Yes, I follow them on Instagram, have been following them on Instagram for a while, but this is something of my own choosing and something that I thought it'd be nice to have. But when I bought it, I wasn't entirely convinced which pattern I wanted to actually knit up. So here we are going through and see if there's anything in here that I want to knit up this year. So the book that I have up for review today is called Cable Knit Style by Joan Ho. This was relatively recently released. Came out back in October 2023. And I say back in October, which is seems far and close at the same time. You can find Joan on Instagram, Knitwear by Joan. She does have her own website, knitwearbyjoan.com, and she markets herself as a size inclusive knitwear designer. Some interesting things about Joan. She is a fellow Canadian. She lives in Ontario with her husband and two cats. I just took that straight out of this book. I was excited to hear that she had a book and happy to support her. Even though I have not done any of her patterns, I was quite interested in this particular one because I am a fan of cables. She's also Asian female, which I'm happy to see, and representation is important to me, being an Asian female myself. I purchased this book through Amazon. I did one of those like I pre-ordered the book and I had that low price guarantee thing that Amazon has. So I purchased this book for the price of $24.05. I had free delivery. It is a soft cover. Um, the book is 7 3/4 by 9 inches or 19.5 centimeters by 23 centimeters. And I think that's a good size. It's like a large notebook size. It does fit in my project bags. So I like that. Some people don't like soft cover. Um, I get it. Like hardcover looks nicer on a shelf, perhaps. It's like a coffee table book, aesthetic maybe. But if I'm going to actually use a book, I tend to gravitate towards the soft cover ones first. I just like the feeling of flipping through the pages. I'm sorry, this is probably coming through. Like I should just maybe stop flipping through the pages as I'm speaking. Um, but it's just easier to look at. I'm not one of those people who babies my books. Me, I'm this person. Yeah, like fold a corner. Like I like my books to look used. Um, So soft cover is very good for me. There are 168 pages in this book, and there are a total of 15 patterns. All 15 patterns are garments. There's no accessories, and as the title suggests, cable knit style. All 15 garments are cabled. Measuring units. I think this is an important thing to note, and there are both inches and centimeters. Thanks, Joan. Book organization. There is the usual introduction, some words from Joan. Then there's a section called Before You Begin. That section explains the difficulty levels for her patterns, ease in selecting your size, a little bit about how to measure yourself, what measurements to take, yarn and gauge, and knitting charts. So these are all cabled patterns, and only charts are provided. There's no written out word for each line in the chart. So if you have had no experience with knitting charts, I'm not saying don't get this book, but it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you to start these patterns. So just take it easy. There is a legend that tells you um, how to, is it a knit stitch or a purl stitch? And in the book, there is a section that says, if you're knitting flat, read the chart this way. If you're knitting in the round, you always read it, this way, right to left. But then there are 4 sections for the actual patterns, and they're arranged more so by kind of style, not yarn weight. And the 4 sections, the first one's called Fashion Forward. This is subtitled Garments for Layering and Coordinating. The section has 4 patterns, also described as modern must-haves. The second section is Oversized and Chunky, Quick Knits That Impress. This section also has 4 patterns. Third section is Simple and Clean, and that's subtitled as Subtle and Uncomplicated Cables. And the last and 4th section is Light and Breathable, described as lightweight and airy garments. And it's in that section you'll find a little bit of the lighter yarn weights, but not too many. A phrase out of the book I took for this section is knitwear beyond the winter months. And then the last major section of the book is techniques. And then there's a little bit about resources, about the author, and acknowledgments, and then ends with an index. So the type of patterns that are in the book range from like a strapless top, there's a tank top, to, big, bulky, weight, cabled sweater. Cabled's going to become redundant. They're all cabled. A poncho is in there as well, and big cardigan. The sizes. So I said that Joan markets herself as a size inclusive designer, and I'm happy to confirm that yes, all of her patterns in this book are size inclusive. There are 10 sizes offered for each pattern, ranging from size extra small to 6XL, with the exception of a poncho. The poncho pattern, that one has 6 sizes because it combines like extra small and small are combined into one pattern. I can forgive that. If you can, I'll show you the pattern in a bit, but you can kind of see why that one doesn't have 10 sizes and has 6, because a poncho is something you put over top of everything is the idea. It truly is a size inclusive book, and I did take down the pattern sizing and was looking at it after taking into recommended ease of all of the patterns. The body measurements, the actual bust circumference range it's about 28 inches to 66 inches, or 71 centimeters to 167 centimeters. But that's a great size range. And again, that is after taking into the recommended ease. So that's really great to see. Something else to note for all the patterns, there is the sample size. So Joan herself is in the book and wearing all of the samples. So the size that she's wearing is listed. And there is also a size chart for every single pattern. So with respect to sizing, though, my only criticism for this book, I think this is for the entire book, is that for the sample shown, so yes, it will say she's wearing a size small. However, the amount of ease that she has is not mentioned. And there's no note or mention anywhere of Joan's actual body measurements. So that if that is something that you rely on when choosing a size, it's not in there. Now, it's not a deal breaker, of course, like there is a full size chart, all the measurements are listed there, but that's just kind of one little thing that could, elevate this book. And it's, yeah, so that's the only criticism I have. I don't think that's, a major one either, but I thought I'd mention it. If you would like to see a picture of all the patterns, you can go to Joan's Instagram, and she does have stories and posts saved for everything. And she also has the highlight on the behind the scenes for this book, because her and her husband actually traveled to Iceland, and I think it's Dubai, and took all the photographs themselves. So I thought that was very cool. But I'm actually going to go through and show a picture of each pattern and a little bit of the basic information in case that's helpful to you. To go through all 15 patterns, I've switched over to viewing my laptop screen, as I'll be using Ravelry to kind of semi-quickly flip through all the photos for each pattern. So on Ravelry, you can find the book and view all 15 patterns, and all 15 patterns are available to be purchased individually. Price ranges from about $10 to $12, and these are available on Etsy as well to purchase individually. So my recommendation would be, if you're concerned about price or wasting patterns, if you think you're going to use more than 2 patterns, you might as well just buy the book. The book is about $24 to $30, which makes each pattern cost about $2. I'm just going to go ahead and use the order that's here on Ravelry, which is alphabetical order. I'm going to kind of click through the photos. So if you have access to Ravelry or Etsy, feel free to skip ahead to the next part of my video if you don't want to see each one. But I'm going to click through each photo for every pattern. So the first one here is the azalea cardigan. This one has kind of a bauble plant-like stitch pattern along the front with a little tie closure and short sleeves. You can see here there's a little diamond pattern running on the center back. Next is the azalea top, which you could wear under the azalea cardigan. This is a sleeveless top which features eraser back straps. And has the same stitch patterns or motifs as the azalea cardigan. This is one of the bulky weight patterns. This is the fern pullover. This one has generous amount of positive ease. Cabling along the front, back, and on the sleeves. This one has the highest level of difficulty in the book, and this is the ginger zip. This one has all over 2x2 rib with cabling down the center front and the same cabling center back. There are zipper installation instructions in the book. Another one from the bulky weight category. This is the ginkgo pullover. The motif is said to resemble or mimic a ginkgo plant. This one has balloon sleeves. Here is the juniper vest. This one's knit up using worsted weight yarn. We can see it has a V-neck opening, some side slits at the bottom hem. The magnolia top. This comes out of the section light and breathable. A phrase that I've taken out from the book is knitwear beyond the winter months. But I mean, if you were somewhere inside, you could totally wear this in the winter months, right? But here we have a strapless knit top with a peplum bottom. Another vest in the book, this is the Morning Glory vest, and this one's knit up with bulky weight yarn. This one does have contrasting ribbing or contrasting colors. You could of course knit this in one color if you prefer, but the instructions are for contrasting colors. The mulberry poncho. So this is the only pattern in the book that doesn't come in 10 sizes. This one comes in 5 sizes because the extra small and small are joined into one, and then medium and large and so on. Because there is quite generous amount of positive ease, and the poncho usually considered to be something to wear over top of everything. This one has a large fold-over turtleneck and buttons to close the sides. Another layering garment. This one's knit with a strand of lace weight yarn and a strand of DK. This is the Myrtle Tee with a V-neck opening and a collar. The River Birch jacket is in the oversized and chunky section. This is knit with bulky weight yarn. And this one's got pockets. And the pockets have the same cable pattern as the rest of the cardigan. The rosemary sweater is another pattern from the light and breathable section. This one is knit with 2 strands of lace weight yarn, specifically 2 strands of mohair. Next is the sagebrush sweater. This one comes out of the section Simple and Clean, or Subtle and Uncomplicated Cables. This one reminds me of a pattern not too long ago released by Amy Shure. I believe it's called the Matthew pullover. And it's just because all the stitch pattern is on the yoke, and the Matthew pullover looks like that as well. The willow pullover is another one from the simple and clean section. This one is knit up with bulky weight yarn and features just a really nice, almost wave-like or softened diamond pattern on the front, back, and the sleeves. And it's got really clean I-cord edges. And the last one, which happens to be the first one that appears in the book, is the winter berry slipover. Diamond shaped cables with bubbles. All right, that is all 15 patterns. We have a visitor. Hi, Tiberius. Before I say my goodbye, I just want to go through some of the book facts and considerations. So this book, Cable Knit Style, has 15 size-inclusive patterns for busts 28 inches to 66 inches, or 71 centimeters to 167 centimeters. There are size charts and schematics for every single pattern. The size of samples shown is provided, but not the amount of ease on the model. Each pattern is available for individual sale on Ravelry and Etsy. The cable patterns are in chart form only, and most of the patterns are in a worsted or bulky weight. And every single pattern has bottom-up construction, which means knitting flat in pieces and seaming. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for my first book review video. Let me know if this information was helpful and if I should continue with more book reviews. But until I see you guys again, happy knitting. Bye.